Smith, MDOC number 267009 versus Sean Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs.
Oh, man, I heard about it. I even watched the whole interview that they had.
A $100 million bombshell. Derek Lee Cardello Smith has just won a jaw-dropping lawsuit against none other than Sean Diddy Combs. That's right, $100 million in a sexual assault case. But hold on, this isn't just another Hollywood drama, it's a full-blown legal battle that could change everything for Diddy. And guess what? He's not going down without a fight. This case is erupting with controversy as Diddy faces even more startling accusations, ranging from sex trafficking and assault to blackmail claims. We're delving deeply into this bizarre tale in today's video, analyzing the most recent court decisions. I promise you won't want to miss this story. Let's jump right in.
Also known as Sean P. Diddy, also known as Diddy, Bad Boy Records, label owner, founder, also known as Puff P. Daddy.
51-year-old Derek Lee Cardello Smith said that Combs had drugged and sexually assaulted him during a 1997 party in Detroit, Michigan. Derek Smith is a prisoner at Michigan's Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility. He faces allegations of kidnapping and illegal sexual conduct, which carries a maximum sentence of 75 years in jail. This video, however, isn't actually about his criminal past. Rather, it's about the fact that, while incarcerated, he filed a huge lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, which a Michigan court has recently decided he won by a default judgment. Although this startling ruling may seem absurd, things got even worse when Diddy began to defend himself through his attorneys. But how did it all start? Well, I'll explain.
The purpose of it is based on two actions taken by Mr. Combs himself, directly with me here.
According to Derek Cardello Smith, Diddy drugged and sexually abused him during a 1997 Detroit party. I went to get another bottle of drink and Diddy asked me if I needed anything else. I said no, and he said, "Here, drink this one." I thought it was another glass of Jim Beam, so I took it because I had drank one earlier in the other room, reads Cardello Smith's accusation against Diddy. I took more after drinking it. When Diddy told me I added a little something to it for you, and I will get that from you anyway. One way or another, I sat there feeling sleepy and on the verge of fainting. Cardello Smith says he was bleeding and in pain when he woke up, and Combs allegedly told him that he had sexually assaulted him. According to Cardello Smith, he allegedly reported the incident to the police, but nothing happened. He claimed that he got depressed and traumatized and that he was unable to discuss what had occurred to him. After he filed the $100 million lawsuit against Diddy, he claims that therapy in prison helped him realize he had been raped. He also claims that Diddy and his associates recently visited the Michigan prison to meet with him and made an offer of $2.3 million to have the lawsuit dismissed. Cardello Smith asserted, however, that he declined. Cardello Smith's claims may have stunned you, but what followed is even more startling. Cardello Smith's request for a temporary restraining order to stop Diddy from selling any real estate for 90 days was granted by a Michigan judge.
It seems that embattled music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is selling his LA mansion.
After Diddy put his Los Angeles home up for sale, this restraining order was issued. Cardello Smith, who was defending himself, won a significant victory when the restraining order was issued during a hearing in August. This was especially significant for a man who had a history of being very litigious, filing multiple civil complaints and criminal appeals. After closely examining his pleadings and the terminology he used, I can say that, for someone without the resources of a law firm or a formal legal background, it was fairly good. In other words, it was successful since the judge granted the restraining order. However, he went further and requested that the court at the time issue a default judgment against Sean Combs, arguing that Combs failed to respond to the summons and complaint he had served on him. To give you some context, a default judgment is when the court declares that a party has automatically lost their case since they did not take any action. And that is exactly what happened to Sean Combs. The court imposed a $100 million default judgment against him because he never reacted, even when Smith appeared at a virtual court hearing. As a result, he must now pay $10 million per month beginning in October. You are aware of what transpired as soon as this was made public. Sean Diddy Combs responded. And that's what we'll be talking about now. Let's discuss the two filings Diddy's legal team made in response. First, despite what Cardello Smith asserts, Combs argues that he was never served with the summons or complaint, which is why he is moving the motion to set aside the default judgment. He asserts that the media's coverage of this default judgment and the ruling that he would owe $100 million was the first time he ever heard of this lawsuit. He clarifies that he would have defended himself if he had been informed sooner. Combs says that in accordance with Michigan law, he must acknowledge receipt of court documents sent to him via certified mail and sign a copy of the return receipt. However, he claims that never occurred. Combs continued by claiming that even the address that was listed was not his primary current address, and that Cardello Smith's provided dates were all jumbled, indicating that he was not served correctly. Combs goes on to say that even if he had been served correctly, the default judgment should still be overturned since he has solid defenses against these claims and can provide justification for the delay. He claims that he reacted right away after learning about the default ruling through the media. Combs says the lawsuit of Cardello Smith is pointless. The accusations, he claims, are implausible. "I do not know the plaintiff Derek Lee Cardello Smith," Sean Combs asserted unequivocally in an affidavit that is included with his filings. "The plaintiff was never assaulted by me, and I never bribed Detroit or Monroe police officers to conceal any assault. I never visited the plaintiff while incarcerated." According to Combs, Cardello Smith is unable to maintain his credibility because although he alleges in his pretrial statement that he was sexually assaulted by Combs in Adrian, Michigan, in his complaint he claims he was sexually abused by Combs after meeting him in a Detroit restaurant.
It was horrible. It was horrible. It was so horrible. I can't describe how horrible it was. Everybody telling me not to speak will just let them reveal my face.
According to Combs, even if one accepts the allegations of sexual assault as factual, the statute of limitations on these claims lapsed 17 years prior to the lawsuit's filing. Now these may sound like pretty good arguments by Sean Combs, right? However, is it too late now that a default judgment has been entered? In this case, what is the law? According to Michigan law, a default judgment may be overturned if the court lacks jurisdiction or if you can provide a valid defense based on the case's merits. Combs says he satisfies both requirements. First, Combs argues that the court does not have personal jurisdiction over him because, as I previously stated, he was never properly served with the documents. This is a prerequisite of due process, which states that you must be informed of the accusations against you in order to defend yourself. Additionally, according to Combs, Cardello Smith cannot prevail on the merits of this case because all of his charges are unfounded, which is another reason why the default judgment ought to be overturned. Additionally, as previously stated, the sexual assault allegations date back 27 years, and the statute of limitations for bringing a case on such claims is 10 years under Michigan law. Cardello Smith would therefore have needed to deliver this by 2007 rather than 2024. Sean Combs is requesting that the court set aside this default judgment and seeks an expedited hearing on the matter. In addition to the payment of his lawyer's expenses, he is requesting an award of sanctions. Regarding the restraining order that was imposed to prevent Combs from selling his home, Sean Combs argues in his motion that it is a baseless case against a well-known businessman that was brought by a convicted rapist and serial litigant with an attention deficit disorder and a desire for notoriety. First, according to Combs, Cardello Smith has not recognized an urgent and irreversible loss, damage, or injury. Second, Combs claims that he has not satisfied the necessary condition for an injunction, since, as we previously noted, you must demonstrate that you have a chance of winning this action on its merits, and we are aware of the reasons why Combs feels Cardello Smith is unable to do so. Additionally, he claims that Cardello Smith would need to demonstrate that, if the injunction was denied, he experienced some irreversible harm, but Combs claims that this is not the case. Cardello Smith is just interested in monetary damages. According to Combs, there needs to be a sense of urgency before a court will issue an injunction. A sense of urgency that if the court denied it, someone would be gravely harmed. Lastly, Combs asserts that Cardello Smith is unable to demonstrate the public interest of an injunction. He clarifies that Cardello Smith didn't even make that argument. He therefore contends that the injunction ruling is flawed and infringes upon his constitutional rights. Combs cites a Supreme Court ruling to buttress his claim that the law is unambiguously clear that equity by itself does not provide a prejudgment injunctive relief to stop a defendant from selling or transferring assets in which the plaintiff does not have a fair or equitable interest. Combs is requesting that the court immediately lift the injunction in its entirety. As we wrap up today's video, it's clear that the Lee Cardello Smith versus P. Diddy case is just one of many issues Sean Combs is facing right now. The music mogul's future appears to be uncertain due to the numerous lawsuits that are pending and the possibility of criminal investigations. While Cardello Smith may have secured a default judgment and restraining order, Combs' defense isn't without merit, leaving us to wonder if the courts will reconsider. Only time will tell how this legal battle unfolds. What do you think? Please share your thoughts in the comments below and remember to hit the notification bell, like, and subscribe if you thought this video was insightful. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the next video.